So on Sunday, Hearts and Kotoko, two of Ghana's biggest teams, will go head-to-head at the Kumasi Sports Stadium. And this is Sports 101's preview of the crucial epic encounter, a game that means so much for either side. And so I want to begin with you. It's a game that they said goes beyond the actions on the field. Is there any truth?
Yes, there is truth because those games do not usually follow form guide. And if you look at the historical antecedent, let me give you an example of Kotoko. When they are on top form, they find it difficult to even beat Accra Hasufuk. I mean, the fans of Accra Hasufuk are waiting for a 4-0 goal margin. What happened in the year 2000? When they are in form, they do it. They beat Kotoko by huge goal margins. When Kotoko is in form, it becomes the exact opposite. Let me give you an example. In 1989, July 1980, Kotoko defeated Hearts 3-0 in Accra Sports Stadium. I quite remember the most experienced player in the Hearts team was Mama Akwa. He wept bitterly. Now, we are talking of over 4 decades. Over 4 decades, Hearts has never beaten Asante Kotoko 3-0 by the same margin in Kumasi. And by the same token, Hearts are also looking forward for a day Kotoko will replicate or will return the compliment as far as the 4-0 is concerned. This match always lives up to the billing, but to be truth, obviously, seemingly standards have fallen. But let's manage what we have now. There are different generations and we can make the argument. I think it's another argument for another day. So I expect Kotoko to show up, but unfortunately, many players have been sold. They had a pretty bad pre-season. Hasufuk have not begun the league well, the 2022-23 on a good note. Why? With a defensive blunder, they lost against Adriana, which is normal, and later they also drew against another tough side, a traditional side, which is Olympics. Kotoko have yet to kick a league match. They also lost in Africa, and I mean, I don't think it's going to help the build-up. I don't think what we expect we'll get, but it's Kotoko and Hearts, so anything can happen. Let me take you to the Juju aspect. The Juju always plays a role. At first, I believed them. Maybe 10 years ago, I believe it worked.
I'm wondering why a game full of 90 minutes is played on the green grass, where players go to training Monday to Friday and then kit up for Sunday. How would Juju play?
Have you wondered why Hasufuk could always call Don Bote, even when he didn't train for 2 months, to play a match against Kotoko? He will give them results. Have you wondered why, when Accra Hasufuk are playing Kotoko at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium, they are more confident than when they are playing them at the Accra Sports Stadium? Are you aware that per the statistics, both teams are trailing each other as far as the number of wins are concerned in their own home grounds? Are you aware? That is the statistics for you. So technically, Hearts are going to play in their home grounds.
There's been that mantra that
yes,
Kumasi is home away from.
It's home away from home. The supporters of Chapter 9, they make the game very exciting. They somehow raise the spiritual, as they see, the spiritual aspect of the game. You don't see that any longer. I mean, it's on a subtle note nowadays or in recent years, but you still have something to laugh or enjoy home about. Now, let me tell you something. In 2002, Hearts beat Kotoko by 3-0. I think that happened at the Accra Sports Stadium. I stand to be corrected. Before the game, Hearts had played Prestia Minsters. And I remember the Juju man told them that any number of goals in that match would directly reflect in their next game against Asante Kotoko. Hearts beat Prestia Minsters by 2-1, and they beat Kotoko by 3-0. Is that not funny? Now, in 2000, I think in 2008 and 9, the first leg was played in Baba Yara Sports Stadium. Had beat Kotoko by 2-1. I quite remember it was either Ubedansa and Mohammed Alassane. There was a player called Mohamed Alassane also. They scored the goals. It became tragic in Asante Kotoko. The now Bantamahene Nana Mankweti then Silvestre Usu Asari, he was the CEO of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. He was alleged to have taken some gate fee into Zoom Lion containers. If you could remember, it was in 2009 by 2008 and 9 season. And then in the second leg, which was played in Accra, Harrison Afo was the left back of Asante Kotoko. Samuel Nkumu was still there. We had this player, Francis Kofi. He scored the goal. Now, before Kotoko came, they said that Hassoufou are depending on Juju. Okay, so let's take Bible. So they took small Bible, this New Testament Bibles. And when they go to the stadium, they threw it on the hard fans and they became psychologically confused. And Kotoko beat them by a good tune. It was psychological. There was a time, I think it's when before the 4-0, what happened was that Hearts, they never went to any Juju man. But what they did was that they started chanting Hassoufou song with powder all over their faces before they entered into the tunnel. And that was all. Sometimes the Juju we talk about is more of a psychological war than the Juju itself. In 2008, during the time of Eric Bokwin, Kotoko was in top form. Their first 3 games, their first 5 games, they won all with 15 goals. Without even conceding a goal. But when you got to Hassoufou in 2008, I think it was in week 7, it was goalless. In the second leg, had traveled all the way to Kumasi, and then they scored 3 goals against Asante Kotoko. It was 3-all. And so I feel
this is a game that doesn't follow the form.
It doesn't follow the form, guys.
There's a lot of mystery and spiritualism associated with this game.
Yes, but in recent times, standards have fallen. That is what beats my imagination. The standard continue to fall. If you look at the overall matches in overall league matches since 1958, it is 110. That is according to my research. Asante Kotoko have won 36 times, has 37 times, and 36 by way of draw. 125 goals from Asante Kotoko and 110 goals from Accra Hassoufou. If you check the last 3 games, let me see whether I have my records. Yes. The last 3 games in 2020, it was Hassoufou 1, Kotoko 2 before the COVID. It was in week 6. In 2020-21, it was goalless at the Kumasi Sports Stadium, week 14. In 2021, second leg, it was Has 1, Kotoko 0, which was week 31. Now, this is also another encounter which saw her dominating. Why? Anytime the 2 teams are tied on points, it is Hassoufou that prevail. Anytime there is a step to clinch the league trophy and they play, it is Hassoufou. So Hassoufou usually dominate when
there's a lot more at stake.
Yes, when there's a lot more at stake. They were tied 56 points. At the end of the day, had beat Kotoko, they had 59 at week 31. And the next 3 games, Kotoko still had 57 points. They had 1 point from the last 4 games. Yes. And then Hassoufou had 61 points. They won the league. In 2021-2022, which was last season, it was goalless draw in Accra in week 7. And then Asante Kotoko also beat Accra Hassoufou in that Fabio Gama controversial penalty, in week 24. Look at the last 3 matches in the first round. Asante Kotoko 2 has 1 in 2020. Asante Kotoko 0 has 0 in 2021. Had 0, Kotoko 0. So Has have not been able to beat Asante Kotoko in the first round in their last 3 league games.
Whenever the fixture is played in the first
in the first round, I think Kotoko. Now Kotoko is coming from a backdrop. There is their CEO is still under fire for losing against
RC Kotoko in that game in Africa. You look at Samuel Boydo also on that score. He's a man under pressure. Check out book their last 7 games stretching from last season. They've just got 2 points out of 21.
Yes.
The 2 managers have their jobs on the line. Who do you think would edge out the other on Sunday?
Well, I think I'll go for a draw. A lot also depends on refereeing. I feel the referees must be the referee or the center referee. They are referees, not one official. There are about 6 or 5 officials. They must be very, very fair with their decisions. I didn't like the other penalty that was awarded to Kotoko. To be honest, it was a soft penalty, and Fabio Gama used certain semantics and antics. That is so I feel there should be very, very, very firm decisions. For Samuel Buedu, I think the people at the helm of affairs in Hasselhoff, they have the cause to complain. Why? He took them half a season. I mean, 2 coaches in last 2 seasons. Before he joined and won them the FA Cup and the league, there had been 2 previous coaches in the same season. He won, and that is normal because he was a new coach. There was a sudden shift of wind, and all the players wanted to play to, impress him, and he won. Most of the times, this is a universal pointer as far as coaching is concerned, because if a coach comes half a season, he seems to play well. When a season is given to him full and he is allowed to do his own recruitment, that is where you can test his agility or his competence as a coach. As far as I'm concerned, last season, Hasselhoff was 6th after winning the league. It is not a good sign. This season has begun and he's already had only a point out of 2 matches or out of a possible 6. So I feel there should be pressure on him to impress. Last season, halfway last season, I heard House was going in for a technical director. And he vehemently protested in an interview with a guy on Asante FM. I was even shocked, but let that one pass. A coach who does not like a technical director, I don't know where he wants to be. I feel he still needs help. I feel his potentials are very, very, very encouraging. And I feel if he is well nurtured and if he controls his temperament at certain stages in his career, he's going to go places. For Asante Kotoko, this is a Burkinabe coach. I quite remember when Has beat Kotoko, either 3 goals or 4 goals. It was a coach called Ouattara.
Yes.
He was also from Burkina Faso.
Are you foreseeing history repeating?
No. History can repeat itself. It happens in Kotoko House matches. You can't take away the historical flavor and the historical antecedents. So just maybe
Ouattara.
But if he loses, I don't think he will even play a league match, and he will be on record not to have played a league match before his son.
He would actually have played 1 league game then, because this will.
Oh, okay. So just a league game. Just a league game.
Let's look at the players involved here. Cats have recruited decently.
Yes.
Kotoko have lost a number of players.
Yes.
In which areas of the
have
field?
They recruited decently?
Well, Kotoko have brought in a number of players. Steve Kwala from Uganda.
How many are they? Is it 11 or 12?
Let's not go into the numbers because it's been a
the numbers are also important.
The general future of Ghanaian clubs.
The numbers are also important because the last coach was Prosper Ugum. Is he doctor or professor?
Doctor.
Yes, Dr. Prosper Ugum. We heard in their Zoom conversation that he wanted to recruit 17 players. 17 players for a professional team.
Haven't already had a squad.
Okay.
That's quite interesting. But you look at this game. In which areas of the field do you think will be won or lost? Which key players do you think will stand tall?
Yes, have already demonstrated. But you see, they have good squad. They have a Glasnawoko in the middle. I think in the attack, in defense, they recruited this Wafa guy. He's also solid in addition to the other experienced players they have, like Inkum. And then in attack, they also have Ifeanyi Bani. Ifeanyi Bani is with the Black Stars. Even if Ifeanyi Bani was not with the Black Stars, I don't know why they are not scoring goals as we expect. Why? Is it technical? I don't really know. But against Asante Kotoko, it doesn't matter the quality of players.
Will they miss Bania?
Yes, they will miss Bania. Bania is a clinical goal scorer. He should be in Qatar. Yes, I'll go there and watch him. Because of Bania, I'll travel to Qatar. He should be there. So they will miss him in a way. But in Has and Kotoko matches, sometimes goals come from unlikely sources. If they come from a defender, It may even come from a goalkeeper. Don't be surprised. Gone were the days when we knew Don Bote would score, when we knew Joe Debra and Shamukwe would score. When they promise the word, they do it. Even at the time of Eric Bakwin, even at the time of certain quality players at both sides, you bet your everything on them, and they cannot score. And goals may come from other players you may not suspect. It all adds up to the pleasure of watching Kotoko and Hearts game. For the defense, I feel Kotoko still have the bites in defense. For midfield, they've lost Mudasiru and key midfielders. For the attacking option, Kotoko have also lost Mbella and a host of them. I feel Hearts are slightly ahead of Asante Kotoko. Well, but I will just take the last 3 matches into consideration. When you consider that, you may think that Kotoko also have an upper hand. I'll go for Accra Hasselfolk on this game. Sunday
is the big one, and we'll love to hear from you as well. Who you think would win this particular clash? Israel is going for Hearts to edge this one. Let us know in the comment section. This is Sports 101 shooting live from Advoco Studios at Anaje Takra, the Western region of Ghana. Do follow us on social media as well. We're back again.